Alright, welcome back. It's been a while since my last video. I've been flat out working on my crypto taxes and they are finally done. In this video I'm going to highlight another Ark creator. I'll talk a little bit about my 2020 tax year. We'll look at my main account and then I'll finish the video talking about two different strategies that you can combine. And this combo is called the eBay DCA Special. Before we get going, I want to let you know I am not a financial advisor. Nothing in this video should be construed as financial advice. And in this video I am documenting my own journey. It is my opinion and for entertainment purposes only. What good is a community if you can't embrace each other? So I want to give a huge shout out to Amanda from AJMETs. Her videos are fantastic, they're authentic, they're real. They bridge the gap between DeFi and the real world. Now I like to make a point to highlight the Ark community in my Medium articles and in my YouTube videos, and there's countless others that are always pointing out the Ark community. Now I've always personally thought that there's no way that any article or video can do the community justice. There's no way that someone could capture the essence of the Ark community. It has to be seen firsthand. Well, I will say that I think after seeing this video I was wrong because it really embodies the essence of Ark. Now, I'm not going to steal Amanda's thunder, but I will post a link in the description of my video. Go to her channel, watch this video. In fact, watch all her videos. Like, comment, and subscribe. Better yet, maybe watch them with your family. I will say, in my experience with watching one of Amanda's videos, my family, they know that I do something in crypto. Now, what exactly it is, they really have no idea. But after I watched Amanda's first video, it inspired me. I texted my mom, my sisters, I got a hold of my dad, and we all got together and I talked to them about Ark. Now, I don't know if they're going to join the Ark, but I will say this. This is the first time we were all in the same room when it wasn't a birthday or a holiday in over 20 years. And whether they join the Ark or not, Amanda inspired me to get a hold of them, and Ark created that moment. So again, the Ark community is fantastic. Alright, now I'm going to borrow Brett's hockey stick chart concept, and I'm going to coin my own term here. And I'm going to utilizing the hockey stick chart, we'll call this the hockey stick DAP, or for this video I'm going to call it the HSD. So here with my laser pointer, you could see the blade of the hockey stick down here, up the shaft towards the apex, back down the shaft of the hockey stick, and out the blade. Hence the hockey stick chart, and for this video, the HSD. Now, this chart really tells your typical journey of an HSD, and this is the story of my crypto journey in 2022. And there's so many things that I can really say here regarding my own specific experience, but I'm a gentleman and I will let bygones be bygones. Now, let's talk quickly about my crypto taxes. Now, I claim every transaction. For example, in 2021, I had 3,300 transactions, and I swore that I would never do that again. I wanted to minimize my transactions for 2022. But I got stuck into this never-ending battle, the battle of the HSDs, and in 2022 I had 9,600 transactions. Now that's an average of over 26 transactions per day, and reviewing those transactions for taxes is not fun. And depending on where you got in to a chart like this, it's really not fun. Now my 2022 started with two investments into HSDs. They started here, and I got into one right here. Now, compounding interest may be the eighth wonder of the world, but when you catch an HSD here and it drops down here and the blade of that hockey stick goes way down like here, I don't care how much interest you're compounding, it's not going to be a fun experience. Now, people definitely made money, but most people who made money got in early. They got in here when the price was low, maybe they got into a pre-sale, and then they built big teams, and as the price appreciated, they made a lot of money. Or maybe they got in here when the price had already tanked, right? And then compounding interest does make a difference. But if they're like me and they got in here, here, and here, they spent most of 2022 trying to catch up or tried to catch another HSD here or another chart here to recoup or make up for losses. And for me, I found that I spent hours scouring telegrams and discords, waking up at 4 a.m. for pre-sales, staying up way too late for stealth launches, you name it. There was nothing simple about it. It was pure stress, and it was like having a full-time job. I mean, I do have a full-time job, so it was like having a second full-time job. Now enter the Ark. Look at this sexy beast of a chart. Look at this stability. And I'll flat out say it, Ark saved my ass. Ark has helped me slowly recover from my HSD disasters, and I've learned to take my profit. And now I'm cruising on the Ark, DeFi simplified. I've ROI'd, and my 26 transactions a day are down to 3 to 5, mostly related to Ark, but I'm focused on paying myself. Not only that, but think of the general concept of the ILC. It captures gains and it puts them in a pot, adds them to the ILC reserves. So like the individual investor being pushed towards ROI, the ILC holds profits and smooths out the experience for all investors. Every level of Ark is built to help capture and preserve value and to sustain over time. And with multiple products, it truly is DeFi simplified in so many ways. Alright, quick Ark news. The PWA, or the Progressive Web App, had its public launch. Now you can snag it at pwa.arkfi.io. You can also get that link from the Telegram. Here's a snapshot from my phone. I recorded this earlier with the directions. Very simple directions for iOS or Android. Now, if you do go to this website on a browser on your PC or on your Mac, you'll be directed to go to iOS or Android. So I'm showing you the instructions here from my iPhone. Again, very simple instructions, and the app is very smooth. So check that out and start building your syndicate. Now, sticking with the PWA theme, let's check it out. Now, I recorded this earlier from my iPhone. Here you can see the main page. Now, let's take a look at the Ark stats. I'll pause here quickly. And you can see the ILC is looking fantastic. 480,000. We're pushing that 500K mark. The number of wallets still growing steadily. We're almost at 4,500. The stats are looking good. Let this play. Now this is my vault. Scroll down, you can see, well, now we'll scroll down, you can see my stats. I'm going to pause right here. Now I want to highlight this fantastic negative NDV and my 1% that I am proudly flying, the 1% flag. Now I'll tell you right now, this is just another example of what I've been saying. I'm putting my money where my mouth is, and when I say that Ark has taught me to take profits, I mean it. And I'm not worried about compounding endlessly or max wallets or max payouts. I focused on ROI, I got that ROI, and now I'm just paying myself daily. And I don't care about the negative NDV. In fact, I love the fact that I have the negative NDV. I have no pressure whatsoever to bring it back to positive, and why would I? I don't have to think about it. It lets me focus on other stuff like my family, my kids. It lets me pay bills. I can save money. There's just so many options. Now I have other accounts with different strategies, like my kids' Ark accounts, which are under the 5 little ducks. We still haven't won the Spark, but someday we will. So I'll let this play through, and then we'll check out the Spark. I'll stop when we get there. So let's just let this play. Again, I'm just scrolling through, showing you how it looks. Now we're getting into the Spark rewards. We'll pause this right about here, and then you can see the Spark reward winners. The Spark rewards right now, they're getting out of control. Sheesh! At this point, I think these winners are being sent into double nitro mode. And so many first-time winners, it's awesome. So again, we'll just let this play out. And if you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend you do get in there. You go to the site that I linked earlier and check that PWA out for yourself. So what is this strategy combo? I've received several messages on Telegram from people that want to join the Ark, but for whatever reason, they just don't have the funds. And we all have different economic situations. Maybe they got rugged, scammed, hacked. Maybe they lost big on the HSDs that I previously talked about. But for whatever reason, some people don't have the risk capital to join the Ark, but they want to. And that's where this strategy comes in. Now, I've had an eBay account for years, and I'm not promoting eBay, but it's what I have available for me. Also, full disclosure, eBay takes a pretty big percentage of your sales. For me, I found it was around 12 to 14%, and it's even more if you use their advertising, so be forewarned. But you don't need to use eBay for this strategy. There's tons of sites now, and plus with stuff like Facebook Marketplace, you could utilize that, or you could even have an old school garage sale. Anyway, about a month ago, I raided my garage looking for items that I don't use or that I didn't need, and most of these items have been in my garage for years. Some of them still in the box. So I would consider any profit from selling these items to be risk capital. And these items definitely weren't making me any money in my garage. And I'm sure that most people have a similar situation with items laying around for one reason or another that just get no use. So I decided to take these items and to turn them into money. Not only that, but if in the future I wanted to buy these items back, or maybe one of these items back, with an investment in Ark, I can do that. So let's go ahead and take a look at my numbers here. I've edited out some of my personal stuff, and it took me about a month, but I sold 3 items. Now, full disclosure, 2 of these were old video game memorabilia items that at the time, I had to have them. Yet years later, they were just collecting dust in a box in my garage. So rounding these numbers, when you add it together, the 3 items netted me around $1,083. Now, obviously your mileage will vary here, but if this is the difference between you being an Ark and not being an Ark, or if this maybe could be the difference between you being Spark eligible or not Spark eligible, you do the math. But for me, it's definitely worth it selling these items. Now, let's jump over to the DApp and see how much Ark we can net with $1,083. All right, about 164.36. So we'll be conservative when we take a look at the calculator. Let's just round that down to 164. So I've already got the calculator from the DApp here. Let's jump on over to it. Now, this DApp calculator was created by Rebecca Snook. It's very convenient. It's great for brainstorming ideas, calculating napkin math strategies. I like to use it a lot at night before I fall asleep while I'm thinking of 1,000 different what-if scenarios. If I add some money here, if I create a wallet like here. This just gives you a very quick snapshot of what your account could look like. So let's use this calculator now to get an idea of what we could do with our $1,083 investment. Knock this off from Brave. Come down here. We'll add our 164 Ark. Let's just look at the summary over there. Our 164 Ark, about 1,071. It's pretty close to what our number was. Most importantly, we would get our ROI with 94 days. And again, just think, these are items that we weren't using. They weren't making us any money. It's risk capital. Come down here over 3 months, 922. The end of year 1, we'd be making $26 a day. Year 2, 125. Year 3, 305. Then year 4, briefly $596 a day, all with items that we weren't utilizing. That is awesome. So let's scroll down here. I'm going to go back here. If our account was open today on April the 4th, again, we'd start with only 843, but hey, we weren't getting anything with these items in the garage. Now what I like to do is I like to scroll to kind of critical times in the year just to kind of see where I'd be. So let's just scroll to December 25th. Let's just take an idea where we would be. So at that point, if we created this account today, by the 25th of December, we'd have 723 Ark. We'd be at 1%, which is awesome because we know we've ROI'd. And we would have made $3,216. And let's just do some quick math here. So the day before we were at 3,197, so 16 plus 3, let's say roughly $19 a day at that point. That's pretty awesome. Now we'll just scroll very, very quickly to the end. So our account, we would basically hit max and we would be done on July 1st, 2026. So think about that. Some random items that we had laying around we could sell now and then get something to pay us passive income daily all the way until July 1st, 2026. That's over 3 years. That's into 4 years. And then at the end, hypothetically, everything stays static, we would make $157,265. That is unbelievable, and that is fantastic. Now, let's consider the DCA part. Now, be forewarned, I want to reiterate this. I'm not a financial advisor, and crypto is risky. Now, DCA, or dollar cost average, if you're not familiar with it, essentially this means that at a set interval, you're going to spend a set amount of money on an asset that you're trying to accumulate over time. So example, every day maybe you buy $100 worth of Bitcoin over the course of a month, which means you would have 30 buys of $100 versus buying $3,000 of Bitcoin outright at one time. Now, you could apply this strategy to any asset over time, any time period. And if you look at it historically, there's several different studies that will show you that over time, people have made more money DCAing in than trying to time an entry and make a larger investment. Now, this may not be the case forever. It may not be the case for specific coins, but over time, there is history showing that this method works out better than trying to time an entry. So let's say that we want to invest in Ark, but we also want to add to our portfolios now before the bull market starts booming, before we get into the real booming bull market. Now, typically, bull markets don't really take off until after the Bitcoin halving. Now, without getting into the weeds on this, if you're not familiar with what the Bitcoin halving means, it's the block rewards that are given to the miners are cut in half. And every 4 years, these rewards are slashed. And traditionally, what we see is when these rewards are slashed, that tends to be the start of the bull market. So this chart down here, you can see where these little green arrows are. It's showing you when the first halving of Bitcoin was. It was kind of in here. There was like this sideways period, and then there was the halving, and then this nice trajectory into the bull market. Then you came down, trade sideways, down into the bear, slowly moving up. You had a halving where the rewards were cut by half for the miners, and then boom, right up into the bull market. And this was the same here in the third halving, and then we had the previous bull market that we just experienced. Now, this could continue in this cycle, continue in this trend. It may not. That's why I want to give you the warnings. Again, do what you need to do for you with your own strategy. Crypto is risky, investing is risky. For this, what we're going to highlight is I'm going to use the halving to kind of estimate the DCA strategy that we can use here. So the next Bitcoin halving is in 377 days. Now, Bitcoin could hit 50K tomorrow. It might drop back down to 25K. We could trade sideways in a range. Who knows? But if it continues to follow this halving pattern, basically when the halving hits at 377 days, we would see this trajectory up towards the bull market, and then we would see all-time highs. That's if. Just want to caveat that. So for this strategy, I'm going to use this 377-day mark to just look at what would happen if we took money that we were planning on DCAing into Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever the asset was, and instead we invest that money into Ark, and then we use a DCA strategy utilizing our daily Ark rewards. Alright, now we're back over on the swap page in the DApp, and you'll remember from earlier we had $1,083 that we got from our eBay strategy, which would net us 164 Ark. Let's throw two other numbers in there just for reference. If we had $5,000 to invest, we would get 755 Ark. If we had 10,000, we would get 1,502 Ark or 1,502 Ark. Now, for this strategy, what we're going to do is we'll assume that we had some amount of money, whether it was the 1,083, the 5,000, the 10,000, whatever number, and we were going to invest in an asset, maybe Bitcoin. But in this scenario, instead, we're going to invest into Ark, and then we will DCA daily with our Ark profits into that asset until we hit the Bitcoin halving, which is 377 days. So let's jump over to the Ark calculator created by Dr. Kelly Snook, and we'll do our calculations there. Now, I really like this calculator for my final strategy. When I know roughly what I want to do, maybe I've used the other calculator and I want to come in and I want to look at the nitty gritty. Maybe I want to make some edits, I want to change some of the numbers, I might even want to change up the percentages, I want to add different wallets in a different way. This is the calculator that I use because I can manipulate the data the way that I need it manipulated. Now, when you first load this up, it is a Google Sheets calculator. You're going to have to go to File, Make a Copy. Now, I've already made 3 copies because it does take a little bit to load because there's a lot of calculations. When you first load up your copy and you put your numbers in here, you're going to see a blue bar in the top right, somewhere in here. If that blue bar is moving, it means it's still calculating and it's still loading. Wait for that blue bar to stop and then you can see your numbers. Now, one of the first things that I really like that stands out with this calculator, you get all your CWRs right here at your fingertips, so you can put your numbers in and you can start seeing some of your base stats. You can see your earnings after 3 months, your daily draw at the end of year 1, year 2, etc. So I highly recommend that you use both calculators. Get in and see what the numbers look like for you. This strategy, CWR1, is what we're going to use. 50% withdrawal, 50% compound. So here's our 164, which is from our eBay strategy. Let's just jump in and take a look. So from day 1, we'll have 164 in the vault. We're at 2%. Let's slide over here. You can see the cumulative total withdrawn. We'd withdraw roughly around $8.43 worth of Ark. Now, one other feature that I really like about Kelly's calculator is that she calculates the net total draw post-tax after selling. The other calculator is calculating your value in Ark that you're going to accrue on a daily basis. It's not calculating the value after post-tax and after selling. It technically is your ROI, but Kelly's calculator takes it one step further. So with 164 Ark under this strategy on day 1, we would have $7.33 available to DCA into an asset. Let's say it's Bitcoin, so $7.33 a Bitcoin. The next day we would have bought in $14.73, $22.20. You get the picture. So now let's just slide down to 377, which is the day of the halving. Let me just find it. So on day 377, which would be April 26, 2024, we're at 1%, which is awesome because we've long since ROI'd. But our net total draw post-tax after selling, we would have been able to DCA in $5,459 into Bitcoin. And then not only that, but because we're in Ark and we didn't do a lump sum purchase, we're now making $28 a day. So if we stop our DCA here, we're continuing to passively make $28 every single day. Now, let's jump over. With our $5,000 deposit, would net us 755 Ark. Again, same idea. Let's go to CWR1. What's that start us at? 38.80 before taxes. After taxes, selling post-tax, we would be making $33.76 a day. That's awesome. Let's slide this forward. Let's look at the halving on day 377. Again, we're at 1%. We've long since ROI'd. But if we DCA'd in every day, we would have DCA'd in $24,669. And then at that point, we're making $120 a day. Another awesome thing about this scenario, instead of going in and buying the lump sum, is that if we need to take a break, if something comes up, we can stop, and these daily Ark payouts are available to us. If you do it the other way, you could be forced to sell that asset and buy back in. Just something to consider. Let's jump over and look at this third one. This was the $10,000 investment. It netted us 1,502 Ark. Again, we're going to do CWR1. So from day 1, $77 before taxes, $67 a day after taxes. That is awesome. Let's slide down. Let's take a look. What were we doing at day 377? Again, we're down at 1% again. We've long since ROI'd. If that was our investment at $10,000, everything stays static. At this point of the halving, we would have DCA'd in $46,599. Now just think about that. You have $10,000 to invest today. Again, we don't know what Bitcoin is going to do in price, but let's say it stays in that window. Maybe it goes up, it goes down. And then right at the halving, instead of that $10,000 investment, you would have DCA'd in $46,599. Again, we can't predict the market, not financial advice. But the awesome thing, we still have our Ark investment going. At that point, our Ark investment would be $216 a day daily that we're taking in. That's a lot of money. That's awesome, and that's fantastic. Again, this is just another strategy for you to consider. I'm Jay Vanquish. This is how I play the Ark. This is the way, and Ark for the win.